We've been renovating our laundry room, and this is what it looked like before. It was unfinished, pretty much unusable. I didn't enjoy doing laundry in here. All we had was the washer and dryer, but nowhere to fold clothes. In this video, we wanted to change all that. I made a table out of countertop material to make this area more functional, and this is what it looks like now. In this video, I'm going to show you all the ups and downs of how I took this countertop material, turned it into a table, and answer any type of questions that you have. What stain did I use? How to do the actual waterfall edge and not screw it up like I almost did. And if you stay tuned to the very end, I made a custom X cross base to hold up the table. But enough talk, let's jump into it and flashback to the very beginning where I'm mounting a 2x4 on the wall to set the countertop.
This table is going to be 36 inches tall, so measuring from the ground up, I marked points on the wall and then connected it with my straight level. And taking a 2x4, I screwed it to the wall, and this will act as a ledge to hold up the table while I'm working on it. You don't have to go with a 2x4, you could go with a 1x, just maybe even something of a smaller profile. I went with 2x4s here because I had a lot of extra scrap material and it ended up working out. Now we're jumping right into measuring and cutting the butcher block material and prepping it for the waterfall edge. So I set my blade to a 45-degree angle. Now this butcher block material is extremely dense and difficult to work with. So if you're doing the same type of cut, just do multiple cuts and just change the depth as you go. Don't try to do it all in one cut or the blade will get too hot and it'll start to warp. Going for my final pass, definitely lucked out that this cut turned out well. As you see the final product, there was some burn marks from the blade itself, but again, that's going to be covered. You're never going to see that. Now that all the pieces are cut, I brought everything back into the laundry room and then just dry fit all the cuts. Again, no glue or screws. I just wanted to make sure that we were headed in the right direction, making sure it was all level. Then I noticed this wall kind of bulges out a little bit more. So I just took my pencil and essentially I'm going to scribe it to the wall. Then taking it back outside, cutting it, bringing it back in, reassembling the table. It's a lot of work, but I definitely wouldn't skip this step.
All right, quick, we have one second.
Belly. Belly.
Oh my. Is it better?
Yeah, not as clunky junky. Looks good.
On to the next.
That right there was getting the green light from my wife that we're good to go, we're on the right track, and we can continue to build the table. If you missed that transition, out of the box, the countertop comes in 25 inches. I ripped it down to 20 inches just to make it a little bit more sleek and less clunky. Here I'm starting to put the 245s together for the waterfall edge, and I'm kind of freaking out. They're not lining up. There's just a huge gap. So quick trick, I went out to the room and cut it at a 46, 47 degree angle on both sides, so that gives me a little bit more clearance. And it ended up closing the gap. Again, you still have a little bit of a gap, but it was more manageable. After installing the bottom hardware, I broke the table down and brought it all to my garage. Then taking a pencil, I'm just going to lightly mark the top part of the wood. That just helps me know what part I've sanded and what part still needs to be hit. When you sand a long time, it just all blends together. Now I put the table back together for, man, this is probably the 4th or 5th time. Just got to get used to it. But this is the final set. I'm adding the glue, and then I'm going to go underneath the table now and secure it with the bottom hardware. And I just have a clamp making sure that it's nice and flush on top. And the nice thing, these flat brackets cost about $5 a piece from Home Depot, and they worked great. Now for the final glue up on the waterfall edge, I'm just layering as much tight bond glue as I can and then spreading it out with my finger and just pushing it in place, scraping off kind of the excess. Then I went out to the garage and made a little jig to keep this waterfall in place. I ended up taking 2 pieces of scrap wood out in the garage with 4 holes total and then just mounted it using some leftover cabinet screws that I had because they have that bigger head. And it acts as a washer and it'll keep that waterfall side in place. You need to check out my work and you can still see I have about a 1/16 inch of a gap that needs to be filled. That's all right. So you remember all that sanding that we did? We're going to go ahead and make our own custom wood filler. And that's out of the sawdust that we have from the table and tight bond glue. Just mixed together. Very nice, almost to a putty-like consistency. Then I'm going to take a putty knife and then just press it into the corners and all the gaps. This is going to be perfect. You want to scrape off as much residue as you can. I wouldn't leave a lot of residue on it because, again, you got to go back and sand what you just did. I grabbed the tight bond to fill any leftover gaps. Here, I wanted to use my stiletto along the edge of the table. You can use a screwdriver instead, just anything with a rounded edge to run back and forth on the table. And what that does is it meshes the wood fibers together with the wood filler and fills all the gaps. There was another butt joint where the two pieces of the countertop met together. So I just used any leftover wood filler because I just want a nice seamless transition from the two pieces. I let the wood filler harden for 24 hours before giving it a nice sand. I used 220 grit sandpaper, that's what I used before, just to match the rest of the table. And there's the waterfall edge. It turned out great despite having the initial hiccups in the beginning of the project. Now, using some foam brushes to apply the stain, I went with Simply White Minwax stain and then a Varathane Western Oak stain. The Simply White was to help remove the yellow out of the table, and then the Western Oak was to give it a nice brown color. The time has come where I'm going to show you guys how I made that X base. The biggest issue that I had with this is just getting the angles right. I took two pieces of 2x2 trim, got the angles where I wanted it, then clamped it down. Then I hit it with a pencil just to mark exactly where it's going. Then using some glue and another clamp, I pre-drilled the two holes that I want to do to set that extra piece of trim. Then I used some finish screws. I like these over trim nails or construction screws because one, trim nails, it's good and it'll hold it in place, but this is a base for a table, so any type of weight that's going to be on top of there, just afraid that it wasn't going to hold. So those finish screws do great. They have a small profile head, so when it buries itself in the wood, all you do is hit it with a little bit of wood filler, sand, and paint, and you will never know that it's there. Before tackling this project ourselves, I wanted to research how much a custom X base like this would cost on Amazon, and you get prices anywhere from $100 to $300, but you're stuck to that height. So we just needed a little bit more flexibility when dealing with that laundry room table because it's 36 inches off the ground, so it's not a typical table height. Ended up painting the X base a brown color, then set it with those same finish screws, then capped off all the holes with dry deck. I literally can't recommend this product enough. I use it to fill all the holes of any type of woodworking projects. But here's the final result. Table turned out awesome. Love the transitions, love the seamless feel. That waterfall edge turned out perfect. Really happy, and we're going to enjoy doing laundry in here.
And that's it. That's how we built a table in our laundry room out of countertop material. As you saw, the build kind of progressed throughout. There's different elements involved, more wallpaper, board and batten walls, and so on and so forth. Well, that was me slowly working on it as the days progressed. This whole video is taking months to actually put out and finalize because my wife gave birth to our son named Clark. He's been a huge blessing. It's just been kind of a whirlwind of things, but I wanted to get this out to show you that yes, I did finish the project. Stay tuned for the full renovation of this laundry room. That's gonna be out next. I'm gonna leave this video right here, so don't stop watching. Just click on to the next one and hopefully you're gonna learn something. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.